And now it's time to welcome our first guest, Michael Eastham. Michael is the founder of Fellowship Financial, a retirement income store just outside of Orlando. And he's also Amazon best-selling author of the book, Common Sense Income Strategies. Michael, thanks so much for being back with us here on The Income Generation.
It's my pleasure. Always good to be back with you guys.
So Mike, it's great to see you, but you have literally written the book on income and investing with common sense dividends, correct?
Yeah, I have.
All right, so I've got that book right here in my lobby. Folks pick it up all the time. Tell us about your background and what qualifies you to be an income specialist.
Well, yeah, thanks for asking, Jeff. I've been a CPA for over 30 years now, and I think that having that CPA designation, one of the things that I started out doing was, analyzing financial statements. And by doing that, we realized that companies have to be profitable in order to survive. Well, that's the same thing that people need to understand if they're going to survive in retirement. It's generating income, and so as a result of that, I went on to get my personal financial specialist designation, which is CPAs that specialize in financial planning. And I've been loving life doing that ever since. And so by educating people, radio program, my book, talking to guys like you, and then of course helping people to understand the importance of income, that has kind of developed my background along the many decades.
Not too many guys can say that, Michael, so that my hat's off to you. That's a wow factor right there. So tell me how that assists you with goal setting and determining what folks' goals should be when they retire. How do you utilize that, and what do you tell them?
Yeah, a lot of people think that the goal setting side is just this fluffy thing that's out there, and they don't spend a lot of time on it. I try to make folks realize that can be the number one important thing to take into consideration, because goals, they're dreams that you want to accomplish in retirement. But guess what? Goals in many cases have costs associated with them. And so if you don't factor those costs into your retirement planning, well, you're setting yourself up for failure. And so that's a key piece that unfortunately isn't talked about much.
Well, speaking of that, you get to have that epiphany meeting with folks where you're doing that top-down study on what income they're going to have prior to retiring and then what income they're going to have after retiring. Tell us how you transition folks like that.
Well, once they actually have the discovery that, yeah, you know what, if I want to travel in retirement, well, I got to have money to do that. If I want to go on missions trips, I have to have money to do that. If I want to help my grandchildren pay for their college education or put a down payment on their house, they have that epiphany. They don't really think about it. So as a normal part of our process, our planning process, we talk about goals. We talk about the costs of goals. And then we formulate that into their budget when we try to build up not only the need for income, but then also the source of their income.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, that's what I love so much about you, is that you come from a left brain background as a CPA, but you're really strong with that right brain goal setting process also that your clients need so very much. So thanks again for being such a good friend of the Income Generation.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.